Well, welcome back. Welcome back to the Extraordinary Drummer Show. Will you help me welcome today, out of Pittsburgh, my dear friend, Poogie Bell. Hey, Poogie.
Hello. How are you?
Welcome to the Extraordinary Drummer Show.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Poogie, before I take you back down memory lane in your awesome history here, I hope you wouldn't mind me to say our condolences here from the Extraordinary Drummer Show to you and your family.
Oh man, I appreciate you. I appreciate that. And yeah, my mom passed September 30th of this year. But you know, she had a full life, and you know, she wanted to see my son, her grandson, graduate from high school. So she was here to say that, and see that, and she was a great grandma a couple times. You know what I mean? And I take you know, it warms my heart to know that she's in a much better place right now than the larger majority of us on this earth. So, you know, but thank you. I appreciate that.
Yes, sir. Speaking of your moms, take us back and tell us the story of how you got started playing drums and your mom saw you playing and started screaming.
Oh, Lord.
The whole household.
Yeah. And this is like, you know, her story that she told me. Okay, so it's not something because I was there, but you know. Anyway, so my father had a band. It's called the Charles Bell Contemporary Jazz Quartet. He put out 3 or 4 records and did some touring and stuff. And so he was having a band rehearsal at the house. His drummer's name was Alan Blairman. Sidebar. I ran into Alan Blairman. Alan Blairman gave me my first pair of drumsticks. So he's a jazz drummer nobody knows, but it's a shame because he was an amazing drummer. But I ran into Alan in Germany on a gig with Victor Bailey, God bless him. And he came to the gig, and after the gig, I handed him my drumsticks. You know, so that was a special moment for me to give the guy who gave me my first pair of drumsticks and the first drummer I ever saw back a pair of drumsticks. Okay, as I digress, because that's not what you asked me about, but I thought I had to mention it. So my father had a band rehearsal. I sat in a wet diaper in a high chair through the whole rehearsal, and the diaper, according to my mother, was a wet diaper, and I didn't complain about having a wet diaper on. I just stared at the drummer. So at the end of the rehearsal, Alan walked over and handed me the drumsticks that he was using during rehearsal. All right, and I was 2 years old. My wife just said I was 2. I don't know. I can't remember how old I was, but I was young. 1 or 2, something like that. No, it was a 2-hour rehearsal. That's what the 2 is for. I can't remember how old I was. It was like 6 months or 1 year old, something like that. Anyway, the next morning, my mother woke up. She was awakened to the sound of drumming in the house. And it was early in the morning, so she's thinking that Alan has lost his mind. It's like, why is Alan in my house at 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning playing the drums? You know, it's just, man is like gone crazy. Right? And she comes downstairs, and I don't know how, but somehow I managed to get myself up on his drum set, and I was keeping time on the cymbal. It was going ting, tick, ting, tick, ting. And my mother said she just stood there for a while watching because she thought she might have been dreaming or something. And then she started screaming, woke up the house. He plays drums. I don't know. This is what's going on, you know. And for as long as I can remember people calling me Poogie, I've been able to play the drums. I don't know how I know how to play the drums, but it's just something that I know how to do. And that's a true story.
Poogie, take me to high school. What was the scene as a drummer in high school?
Uh, well, I worked all the way through. I mean, I was in living in New York City, and there were still places to play then. So that was kind of like my high school. I mean, I graduated in '78, but my point is that all that kind of stuff was going on throughout those times.
Wow. Let me ask you this one. Where did the name Poogie come from? How did you get that name?
Oh, my father was a jazz musician. I have no idea. I'm sure I don't want to know. But it just stuck. We have a lot of people in my family have IE sounding like we have a Bubby, a Snubby, a Tookie, so that could have played into it, but I don't know how I became the Poogie.
Yeah,
but I was here's one for you though. Did you know that the lead singer for Archie Bell and the Drells, Archie Bell, his nickname is Poogie? So I'm not the only one.
I think the lead singer for the Delphonics
might have been the Delphonics too. You're right, from Philly, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I read somewhere where Billy Cobham was a big influence on you.
Oh, massive influence on me in that he, his drumming, but more so the fact that he was, songwriter and a producer and was actually having success. I mean, Billy, out of, him, I would say him, Lenny White, and probably Tony Williams as well, actually had careers of their own, but they were on like a next, rock star level. Michael Walden, I'd have to throw him in there as well. Narrative, Michael Walden, sorry. And but yeah, his drumming, the songwriting, the production, the whole 9 yards. And it's amazing to me that a person who I grew up admiring and listening to and being influenced by is someone who is now a friend, you know what I mean? And I'm able to have conversations with him and talk to him, and he's always been very, very kind. And the last time I saw him perform was at the Blue Note, and he was celebrating his birthday. I'm not sure exactly which birthday, but it was his birthday, and I guess he stayed there for like a week or something. And I don't know, Billy has to be in his 70s, but my point is, when he decided to pull one out of the hat, man, it was like woof. It was just like still all that thunder and all that fire in his drumming. And I love to see him play, and I still love listening to his records.
What do you think it is? And this is exactly how I wrote it, Poogie. What do you think it is that in your diversification of all these different artists, it speaks for itself that you play many different styles and feels and whatnot. What do you think it is about your playing that's just so rock solid that it just works across the board, no matter where it's at, what style, what artist, what music? What is that thing?
Oh, it goes back to growing up in New York again.
speaking of Marcus Miller, how many years did you work with him?
Uh, every band since his first record. So there's people don't know about the R&B records. When Marcus was singing and stuff. And he was supposed to do some gigs, but we never did no gigs. So he really didn't start focusing on doing gigs until the record that's called "The Sun Don't Lie," and I'm on that record. Lenny White's on that record. Omar Hakim is on that record. I think my man. I can see his face. I can't think of his name. The brother who plays with Living Colour and Vernon Reid. I think he's on that record. But I don't know. I guess for about 13 years, 14 years, I was a member of that band. Something like that. And that doesn't, that's not including the early teen years. We did the play, and then we would play trio and just do different things.
What did that feel like when you got the phone call that you'd won a Grammy?
It's nice, trophies and platinum records and all that stuff is nice to be a part of something that a lot of people like. And it's a nice feeling. I remember it's only Marcus's record, and then Angelique Kidjo, I think she won one on one of the records I played on. It's only a few. I can't remember. There was an Emmy in there or something. But it's nice. It's nice. I have Erykah, the Universal gave me a platinum plaque for the live record. You know what I mean? So that kind of stuff is nice. It's gratifying. You got jewelry behind you too. I see that jewelry up on the wall.
Thank you, man. I can't believe you put me in the middle of this, and I'm looking at.
No, you look. You got all sorts of records behind you.
Let me ask you about this. What endorsements are you doing?
Currently, Remo, and then Vic Verth, Ludwig drums, and Marat Dyril cymbals.
I'm on the many hats you wear, and I just had a few more questions here. Also produced.
Yeah.
I see here Alex Bouillon, one of my favorites.
Yeah, I've done 5 or 6 of his records. And it's gratifying, every once in a blue moon. We used to work together all the time, but every once in a blue moon I go out and do a gig with him, and still I don't want to say all of them, but some of the most popular songs in his set are tunes that I, either helped produce or produced, and that's a nice feeling. And it's a nice testament to that you did good work. Producing is a lot of fun, and once you start to do it, it's hard to stop. Like I'm in the middle right now of working on a double record that I'm calling Black Pop. So it's Black Pop is the title of your music style, but it's like words and music. So I have one record that's all singing and another record that's all instrumental. And I have a licensing deal with a company called Leopard Music over in Germany. They're part of a huge conglomerate called Delta Music. And so the record will be distributed through Sony's system here in America. I hope to have it out sometime March or April of next year. You know, but this will be my seventh record that's a Poogie Bell band record. So that really means a lot to me, and to get the ideas out of your head, so it'll drive you crazy.
Poochie, do you realize you've been playing drums over 56 years now?
Yeah, it's really frightening, isn't it? Well, you know, I look at it this way. I pretty much have sucked at any other thing I've ever tried to do, you know, because there have been periods where there wasn't any work and I had to go get a normal or quote unquote real job, and you know, and they've been far and few in between, but you know, no shame in my game. You know, I was going to pay a bill, but I literally sucked at every one of them. I was like the world's worst newspaper boy. I was a security guard bank at one point, guard. I sucked at that. You know, I mean, just the normal jobs and me, we don't get along that well. So I'm happy that the drum things, you know, 99.9% of the time works out.
Easing back towards drums, what do you think of, for the phrase, today's drummers? They're playing faster, tighter notes, more imagination. It's one other drummer said it's like they're playing a drum solo in the middle of a ballad.
Well, if playing a perfect 16th note as loud and as humanly possible and playing in a straight line, if that's creative to you, I'm not mad at you, but I don't see it as all that creative. You know, I was listening today to a couple of guys, and different guys, but they're, you know, from the gospel school, and a lot of the stuff they play I really, really love, and you know, because it's, you know, Black ingenuity and, you know, creativity, but so many of them sound the same. You know, I was like, I listened to one drummer and they all seem to have a 10, 12, 13 like toms going on. It's amazing to me that almost all of them have their 10-inch tom tuned to the exact same note. You know, I don't know if that's like a really cool thing or what really to think. So you know, I'm not going to, you know, I'm not bashing them or putting down what they do. I'm hoping that instead of just listening to other drummers that play in that style, that they start to branch out and listen to other drummers that play in different styles and start incorporating that into which it is that they do.
We do a thing on the show we call Word of Advice, where I ask the drummers, the guests, if they would leave a word of advice for the up-and-coming drummers.
I just did.
I know,
but I'm just messing. Get coffee cups.
You know, so some of these guys are trying to get traction and they don't know how to get on. They don't know how to get to that next level and whatnot. They really don't know about business plans. They don't, not business plan, but a resume, bio.
Right.
But just the whole hanging side. What would you say to them?
I would say to them, you don't necessarily have to do what the man did that came before you. To not be afraid to try something different, you know. Learn how to use, so simple, it's something I'm still trying to figure out, you know, learn to use the social media to your advantage. Play play clear and concisive. Play with no ego. You know, when you go online and you see everybody playing 1,000 drum solos, this, that, and the other. On major gigs that I had, I can count on 2 hands and 2 feet the number of times I got a drum solo, working with Chaka Khan or working with Erykah Badu or working with whomever. You know, learn and respect the music. You know, work with the bass player. If the bass player is a guy who's not listening to you, right? Deal with it by working with him. If he's playing one rhythm that don't have nothing to do with the song, go with him. Make the song sound good. If you make the song sound good, everyone will remember and they will call you again. You never know who's in the audience listening. You never know. But don't go to the gig disrespecting the gig by auditioning like you're going to be on another gig. Go to the gig, respect the music, respect the artist, you know, make sure that you're not like drowning out the singer or the lead instrument, and be supportive. You know, basic principles, basic common sense principles will get you work.
In closing, I want to ask you this question here. How would you like your legacy to be played out, to be said?
Well, people to, you know, just say, well, you know, he was a good drummer, but more importantly than that, he was a great musician. You know, if I get great musician, I'm good. That's about it.
That's awesome, man. That is awesome. Let me say thank you so very much for being on the Extraordinary Drummer Show.
Thanks for having me. Sorry it took me so long to get here.
That's because you're a master at what you do. I'm glad you could squeeze me in.
Oh man, my pleasure. I'm in real good company. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome, sir. Will you help me wave goodbye to all the fans, all the audience?
Take care, stay safe, wear a mask. It's going to be all right. One love.